a little bit. I'm not feeling 100% today, but I guess that's okay. I guess you're allowed to not feel great all the time. So today, instead of me saying but today I think I'm going to just briefly talk about a whole bunch of things because, the reason why I ended up being like multiple skills is because I was surrounded by people, oddly enough, in the industry who were artists and designers and directors and actors and musicians, and all of these people came together within the environments that I was living and surrounded by, making it very hard to, obviously we're influenced by people around you. And after my dad left the embassy, he was actually, he owned his own radio station in South Africa. And then after that, I think he ran as director at the Market Theatre. So before he ran at the Market Theatre as the director, he actually knew a whole bunch of people in the art world and the music world and the film world, because everybody from Los Angeles to New York would come down and visit people in South Africa. Hi, welcome in. I'm talking about my life growing up in different countries, but on the understanding of why polymath is like a thing, right? So that's basically what it is. I'll be talking a little bit about the fashion too. I don't know if the song is correct yet, but I think there's still stuff I need to do here. Okay, so I'm gonna have the music in the background of the stuff that I do. I'm switching around to this different space, the opposite side of the room, because I haven't been feeling great the past couple of days. Welcome in, guys. I'm going to be talking a little bit about the fashion, but I also feel like it's important to explain to people that my lifestyle has been a bit all over the place, from my dad, who was like a former diplomat, all the way down to him actually working as the director at the Market Theatre. So I don't know if you've gone or if anybody knows about South Africa and the Market Theatre. But if you know anything about the Market Theatre, you know that all the top people from New York and Los Angeles actually do land in South Africa and basically get involved with acting and performing and stage performances. And I even remember Winston Marsalis coming down to the Market Theatre. I don't know how that all happened, but my dad somehow had something to do with that, I think. So it's important to understand the reason why people turn out a certain way is because of the environment and the people that they might be around, right? So that's part of the process here. Okay, let me talk a bit about the fashion, because the fashion became part of also who I am. Okay, so I am going to talk about the fashion history, or a little bit more about fashion in general, just as to why it all came about, is that fashion played a very big role in societal changes and development. I think I had spoken about this on my one of my imagery, the AI videos that I did and put together. Why did that freeze? Ooh, please tell me you're not overloading on me, please. Please. It just froze on me. Okay, so I think to understand what I really am or who I am is to understand the background. is that I was around actors and actresses and directors and photographers and artists, and the list goes on, because of the jobs that my parents were actually involved in. My mom was a singer, opera singer, but she basically played a role in a lot of things that happened within the embassy environment and cultural events that had happened within those spaces. So I think it's important to understand that a person doesn't just become a certain way. And I don't choose to just focus on one, because I had so many people in the industry tell me, you can't be a musician, you can't be a vocalist, you can't be a pianist, you can't be a designer. I had so many can'ts that I was finally tired of the can'ts, and I said, I'm going to do all of them. So I did all of them. And I didn't care what the whole industry said, because I finally decided that it was important for me to just do it for myself. There are a lot of gatekeepers in the industry. We all know the reason why Disney and Sony are falling out of alignment with jobs and problems that are happening is because people know that the gatekeeping has been next to null within that world. So it is very important to understand that I'm coming from a perspective of knowing full well how the industry works, because I have been inside of it. Okay, my sister's an actress besides being a singer. She was actually on The Voice in South Africa. And I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of seeing talent not being pushed in the right direction. I'm sort of thankful that this AI stuff is coming about, because it shows people that if you have the skills and you are capable of doing multiple things, you can work with AI. You can make the AI work with you, so it's a collaboration versus it being against you. And I think that's the biggest thing for me, is that I've realized that by speaking to AI, right, I do talk, obviously we all talk to AI, right? At this stage, we're all having conversations on different levels, whether it's ChatGPT or Cloud, is that right, Cloud? Or Cloud means something else in South Africa. I'm not even going to get into it. But when I heard that, I was like, oh, don't say that to South African. They will they will get really mad. They'll be like, I don't know about that. That's a bad word. And then now we have Ask Studio, right? No, Ask, what is it? Yeah, Ask YouTube Studio. And Ask Studio is built into YouTube, right? So the built-in kind of situation enables you to kind of look in different directions on your channel. And I think you need to understand, or people need to understand, that the reason why it's important to be that polymath right now is because what needs to happen is we need to see AI as a collection of layers. It is like a layer, like it speaks on many different levels. Just like when I was doing this by myself, I had nobody to speak to on like 6 different layers of things. So I know that AI plays the role of polymath. And social society forces us to choose one direction. And I heard it so many times in the industry. The actors are like, you can't be like an actor and like perform on stage. Or the pianist was like, oh, you're not allowed to do that because that's my role. I'm like, who are you to tell me what to do? Like, I mean, you might be like successful people or whatever, but I don't think it's like people's rights to tell you how to run your life. So my whole life I have been running from being that one person type of thing. It's more like the one person type of scenario. Just be a musician, or just be an artist, or just be a computer tech. Like I refuse to do that. I refuse to do that. So the music in the background you hear me produce. Oh, let me have you listen to it if you haven't listened to my music. And the reason why my channel is protected and safe is because I deal with the question of copyright. Like, I make sure that everything I do on here, I belong, whether it's I own, whether it's the music, whether I'm teaching people how to do it from ground zero, whether it's the fashion. I made this. This is actually at the Smithsonian, one of the articles at the Smithsonian. Hold on a second. Okay. And I don't want to name drop, but I know a lot of people who are within the industry, and I don't feel, let's put it this way, those people did not help me. All I can say is those were gatekeepers, and the gatekeepers are now finally realizing that it's not just about success and making it happen within the industry. They better have talent to maintain and hold on to their jobs now. That's all I'm saying. Is because the jobs are now, if you're not talented or gifted or have skills, you're going to potentially lose the positions within the industry because people are selecting people who are able to do more than one thing. If AI can do that, people can do that. And I think that's one of the reasons why society is scared, is that the hierarchy within the tech departments and worlds do know and realize that AI plays a very big role in the polymath world, right? Polymath. You can have a discussion on music production with AI, which I have done, and then I could switch over to the fashion side and have a conversation with the fashion and talk about like threading and all that stuff, all the way down to the IT and how to develop a website. That's what this is about. If you understand the mechanisms of how all of those skills work, you're going to be okay. I don't follow society. If I followed society, I wouldn't be doing what I do. Okay, so this was at the Smithsonian article. This actually saved me. Knitting saved me. I was in hospital twice, maybe even 3 times, twice. And the first time it was like a few months. I think I was in hospital for about 6 months. And for me to have kept my sanity, I needed to find some stuff to do. Whether it was a piano that they had in the corner of the, I guess like the kitchen area, I was playing the piano, or I was knitting. You would find me sitting and knitting in certain places. So we're talking about fashion, right? I talk about lots of things, but I think it's important to have more than one skill. And I think the way you can work with AI is knowing more than one skill, because that's what AI does. AI knows more than one skill. That's a known fact. And that's why I think people are scared of identifying those who are a little bit aware of other things, right? Okay, so this is fashion. You got to learn how to make patterns, what the materials do, pattern making, right? I remember when I was younger, back in the day, I was so bananas over Vogue magazine. And Vogue magazine was a Vogue magazine before it became like, I think it's on the platforms now, but it was actually magazine back in the day. So this is like a history of Vogue. Love it because it starts off with like watercolors and stuff like this. And then they shift over to photography. And I studied photography too, and graphic design. So for me, I was like taking photographs of models when I was in my 20s or 30s for the purpose of projects that I was putting together, because I set an event, I developed events, I put events and projects together for shows. You can go onto my resume, which is below. You can check out my site, which is a Wix site that I put together, and underneath that you can go straight into my resume and you can see all the jobs that I've done. Lots of jobs. I'm a Gen Xer. I'm not in my 20s, I'm not in my 30s, I'm in my 40s. Okay, so I've had a little bit of so you can see the shift from watercolor into photographs. I mean, it was shown in the history of Vogue too. The same thing was happening in the art world. Is while all the photography was happening, they were shifting from understanding design and contour and furniture making. I don't remember all the, I used to make furniture. We actually studied some furniture design furniture designs and the furniture designers who made a big impact in that world, because the Corcoran was known to do a lot about that kind of stuff. They did like design. We even did like graphic design by hand. So we would draw like this. These ones, like these kind of things, for example. We would draw by hand. These are now prints, right? But we would literally draw by hand an illustration before Photoshop became like a thing, right? So that was like a whole process of the development of change. But yeah, I think at this stage, I think what's happening is that the gatekeepers are beginning to not become gatekeepers. I also knew people at Sony. I'm not going to pull out names because I think that that's like, but it has given me the strength to realize I don't need any of them. I don't need any of them because I know them and I know their personalities, and I was just not amused by how they went about doing things within the industries, right? So this whole thing and the change and the shift that is happening right now, I think is a good thing. I think it might be hurting people who don't have the talent and who thought that their crafty behavior and their gatekeeping would save their jobs. I don't think it is. My husband is talented. He has worked at CBS. CBS has had so many problems. He's there right now. He has not lost his job. Why? Because he understands the mechanics of how the actual company works, the underlying source. If you don't have the underlying source of how to build a company, you're going to have problems, because look at what happens now. Everything that is built up will fall apart. You have to have the basics. And what I do, I don't even call myself a polymath. I call myself a director, because a director should be able to do the filming. The director should understand the basics of music composition. A director should understand how to film and how to create a storyboard. I can do all of these things. Who's going to do the clothing? Who's going to get the people together? You have to understand the skills. I've put together events, projects, successful projects in South Africa. I do not do it here because it's a whole different kettle of fish in the United States than it is in South Africa. And when I was in South Africa, some of the people that are now successfully making it, or I don't know, maybe they're not, the Disney people, the people in Disney in South Africa, I don't know how it's going there, but I know here in the States things are like disintegrating, right? Because we know that social media has taken over the roles of the growth in Hollywood, right? These are the places that we're now growing as a collective. But to grow doesn't just mean stopping right here. You have to grow and learn the skills. Like, learning the skills is the big important factor of this growth. I'm not feeling great today, so I'm literally just sitting. Okay, so, and then we go into textiles. There's a lot of history in fashion. I think I did bring up that textiles came from, fibers came from different parts of Africa and different parts of Asia. And they were woven and knitted and, there were lots of different processes of how it was done. Embroidery. All of these things mattered. But it all came from not having technology at first. We didn't have the technology back in the day. So knitting became a big factor in how things were made. It still is. In areas of rural locations, this was done. I was in South Africa when I did this. I had to go to hospital because I had like a nervous breakdown and stuff, and lots of other issues that had actually occurred during that time. So I was in hospital twice. Just one for my leg. The first time was for something a little bit more serious. So through that experience, I learned how to move my mental space from being where I was into something productive, which was making something that I could do if I was lying in bed, for instance. because I didn't have like no sewing machines in hospital. They wouldn't give you anything to use. So you had to work with what you had, right? That's like an important factor. So I just feel as if it's important to, I do talk a lot about history because that's what I studied. I studied the arts. I did my master's, if that makes any sense. I also did my bachelor's. I did my master's in South Africa. I'm just checking here. I also did my bachelor's in the United States. So I have from two areas. And then in Japan, I got my graduation for high school. So I was in 3 different places. And if you want to look up information on the jobs that I've had, you can go straight to my link, see who I am. I know a lot of the people that come on here are probably younger. I don't know, I know people who are older because those are the people that I worked for or worked with and studied with, not the people who are younger. This whole Tyla's new in the industry. She's not the first, but she's definitely new in the industry, and people know her now for this generation. Other generations knew other musicians and artists, right? Those were the people before her were the people I spent time with. Okay, so that's it's a different story. The lifestyle now is different than it was before. Technology has opened the door for more communication about this kind of stuff. Back then, there was less conversations and more gatekeeping. Okay, people did a lot of gatekeeping without the technology because you weren't allowed to film anything. In fact, we didn't even have iPhones to actually film. If you met a celebrity, you could not take. In my case, I was never was not allowed to take photographs because embassy specifically, it was just a no-go. And when my dad was the director at the Market Theatre in South Africa after his embassy work, I had been connected, I still am connected to, I don't know if you know the Black Panther. Okay, there's a director that's called, or an actor that's called John Connie. He happens to be my dad's, Dr. John Connie. He always corrects me, Dr. John Connie. He played the father of the guy, I forgot his name, the guy that recently passed away. I'm not feeling great today, of the Black Panther. So there is a communication and connection that happens. It's closer than you think. The world of acting and film and music are actually closely connected. And fashion, we all know this, right? This is not an uncommon thing. I worked with the bassist for Vanessa Williams back in the day, I think it was at Guitar Center. So they're all connected. They were just gatekeepers. And I feel as if this is the time for me to just do what I can do best and be able to kind of make it work for myself, because now it just shows people I'm not going to stand down and just do the fashion, because I had a lot of people in the music industry that were like, oh no, you're going to be a designer. I was like, who said I was just going to be a designer? I'm not going to just be a designer. I do music as well. They didn't like it. There were a lot of people that did not like that I was able to do multi-dimensional things. And it's going to happen. If you are a polymath, you will always experience people gatekeeping, even in the industry. They will push you aside and say, oh no, you're not allowed to do this because we do that. Yeah, I got tired of that. I clearly set everything up myself. This is my music equipment over here, if you don't know. I use Logic Pro X. I'm just sitting in the corner right now because I just need to sit. I'm not feeling too 100% today, so I'm just going to sit down. I was going to do some music production, and then my head's like, no, you need to just stay cool today. Couture Sewing Techniques. Great book to have if you're wanting to learn to sew. My channel is not all about fashion. I'm sorry to tell you. this is not just a fashion channel. It is a channel that has multi-dimensional angles because I was a project manager. I call myself a director now because that is what I am doing for my own projects and vision. Is I run my own kind of process here. So the sewing is, I'm not going to be swayed just because social media wants me to be, just like I said. Everybody is swaying people to be a certain thing, which I do not agree with. I don't agree with people saying, oh, you should probably do this because the direction is going towards people more interested visually about the sewing. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to make a little bit of a frictional glitch. I am the glitch in the system. Let's put it that way. I'm not here to play, oh, what's social media gonna like? Like, it's great, but I'm more here to stand my ground because all these years in the film industry and in the music industry and in the art industry, I had so many people who are professionals who kept saying, oh, you can't do this because this is what you're supposed to do. That I was finally like really tired of it, and I just said, I up and left, and I said, screw you all in South Africa. I'm coming to the States and I'll do it my way. And that's what I did. Hi, welcome in. Oh, so very nice that you're from Korea. I love it. You know, I love Korean food. My husband's Cambodian, so we eat a lot of Korean food. I'm more into the Korean food and the Japanese food than the Western food. It's kind of crazy. Welcome in. I'm just, I'm partly talking about fashion, but I'm also discussing this whole thing on being able to have more than one skill, because if you have that more than one skill thing, you can start businesses on your own. You don't have to wait for somebody to tell you what to do. You can automatically put together a website. You can understand the techniques behind a sewing machine. You can create a collection of clothing for a fashion show. All of these things matter, but you don't need a team to tell you what to do. You can quite easily do it for yourself. So, oh, you mean the food that I eat? Yeah. I lived in Japan for 9 years, so I lived most of my, a lot of the time when I was younger in Tokyo and Hokkaido. So Asia was part of my environment, right? So that's what so a lot of the food that I eat is a lot more Asian than Western food. Don't ask me to eat spaghetti, I won't. It's just one of those things. It's built into my system now. So I was busy talking about the fashion side. The music you hear in the background is the stuff that I've produced. So that's also another side besides clothing that I make. I have done fashion shows. I'm a lot older than people think I am. This is just a jacket. You probably don't see it automatic. It's on, let's see if I can find a picture. Let's see if I can go into my sites and see if I can find a picture of this. 2 seconds. Sorry, I'm not feeling 100% today, so if I seem a little like off, it's because I have a little not so great. Let me just see, nomadics. I still need to work on that, but yeah, okay. So if you go onto my site, you can see a couple of the projects that I've done. In fact, yeah. So the jackets that I just pulled out is from the show, right? And the knitting, this is me, and like that's me over there. And then if you want to go into my site to see more stuff, and like this lady over here, she joined me. She was actually studying with me. This is, I think she directs Disney right now in South Africa. So and then this woman over here, she's a jeweler. I don't know. There were like a lot of things that I had done back in the day with a lot of people. So I just decided it was time for me to move back to the States because I was absolutely tired of people telling me where I should fit. I wasn't prepared to fit into their norm, right? It was just not something I was going to do. I built my own sites. Even back then, when everybody was talking about site development, I'm sitting here making my own stuff. I take my own photographs. These photographs I took myself. I was a photographer too, so I took my own photographs. I was like, I'm not going to wait for people to do it for me. My husband or partner works for CBS News, so he's in film. He's around photographers all the time. That's like what he's around too. So it's, and then if you want to go in and see my resume, years of work. You're welcome to see what I've done, where I've lived, the locations. I even have sections where you can click on certain things. Oh, that's Amazon. Oh, that's not there anymore. I need to take that off then. Okay. There's some things that I just need to remove, I guess. Okay, so that needs to be removed. Let's do Rock to Rock. I've linked a whole bunch of things. This was connected to, where is it? These are pieces that were connected to a dance company that happened to be involved with, I think, the films. I think this was happening. I don't know if anybody knows William Kentridge. That happens to be my dad's really best friends. If you know anything in the arts and the film, William Kentridge is one of the biggest, I guess you would call him a director, but I also think he's an artist who's wildly recognized. So my pieces have been developed with and around people like that, right? So it's just one of those things. But welcome in. I hope you're doing well. Are you in the States? I cannot read your name. I am so sorry. I don't read the Korean. I apologize. Okay. And I stopped doing all the social media, other platforms, because I'm just not, I didn't grow up with social media, technically speaking. I'm growing up with it now like everybody else. But social media wasn't like, okay, we had MySpace, but I had other things. I think I was studying my master's back then. So I was doing my master's and my fashion stuff during the time MySpace was out. So I had a MySpace page, but I wasn't like focused on that. I had projects that I was developing and focusing, right? So that's like the whole thing. Yeah, so it's different. The world is different now. But this whole gatekeeping thing in the industry just needs to stop. People want people to focus on one angle, and I was just like, you're not gonna put somebody who does multiple things in one box. It's not going to happen. Like, I was not going to do that. I was not going to wait for people. That's one of my paintings over there. That's actually for my master's. It wasn't that color originally. It was like this huge piece. Let me see if I can find it. I don't think I have it. Let me see it on my site. Let me see if I can find it on my site. Where's my site? Okay, I'm going to go to my... Let's see if I can find. It was on the back walls here. I'll show you. So those pieces, that's little skinny old me. But on the back wall of this show, we had about 500 people show up. Okay, there were like these huge paper paintings that I had put together because the paper paintings. Hi, welcome in. Oh, you're so sweet. It's just because I have a lighting on. I have a light here so you don't see like the shadows. But I don't have any makeup on besides the eyeliner. That's it. But I'm talking about when I did my master's in South Africa, we had about 500 people show up. This is before social media. So these photographs I had to kind of salvage, right? I had to find a way to get a hold of these because at the time I had to put everything together. And also for the show, for that show, I also did music. And the music is actually, you can find the music on my SoundCloud. So there were two different places that I kind of developed the project for this huge Goethe Institute show. And when I developed the show, I was looking at it from many different angles. I didn't see it as just an art, because everybody wants you to focus on one thing, right? I focused on like the entirety of a vision, and then broke the vision down and then put it together with the people. So I would call what I do like directorial work, because I think that's that's a better way to explain it. So yeah, that's what I do. I polymath is another. Polymath and director go hand in hand, because that's more or less what they're doing, is that they're having to manage multiple things at the same time, but know each one of the fields to put the projects together. That's what that is basically, right? If you want to be like professional, that's what the professional, either that or events planning. But even then, you can find events planners or events managers that really just don't know all the fields. You want to know all the fields. If you're going to do a successful project, you want to make sure that you know all the fields, right? That's like if you're not going to show up and overshow what you're capable of doing with multiple things, then you're obviously just doing part of the work. If you're going in there and just saying I'm a director or a manager and not showing them what you're really capable of and showing that you actually have skills, that's a problem. And most of the people that are gatekeeping in the industry, like the film and the mainly the films and the directors, they're gatekeepers because maybe they're not as they don't have diverse skills. You need to have diverse skills if you're going to grow. Start a business. That's really the big point, is to create your own business. But to create a business, you need to have more than one skill. Really, it's like a must-have, right? Must-have. Let's do. You can absolutely go. And I started an LLC. So the LLC and then my site. I always talk about my site. I don't know how many people go over and really see what I've done. I just don't know. I don't know if people are really assessing it, or if they're like, oh, she's just like on YouTube. No, I mean, I'm not just on YouTube. I've done stuff. Okay, let's see. I should be doing 2 hours, but I am so not feeling well today. It's quite scary. So I want to. If you have any questions, folks, feel free to ask. I'm always here to answer questions. I'm just waiting for people to ask questions. I think people are nervous because I put blockers on my channel, and that's maybe a good thing, because if I hadn't had the serious blockers, and I would usually find people who want to create chaos. I don't like to create chaos. I'm all about teaching and helping and guiding if people are willing to listen, right? That's what I do. That's basically what it is. And when you get people I see a lot of young people always getting upset. Oh, this person left a horrible message on my channel because I did something and they didn't like what I did. And then you see a whole bunch of comments that are just absolutely just terrible. It's not cool. But here on YouTube, you can protect yourself. You don't have to deal with that headache. And there are so many ways to succeed on YouTube than to worry about other people talking badly and leaving horrible, horrible comments, because I've had that experience on here. Make no mistake. I finally took it into my own hands and I said, I'm not going to handle that anymore. No more. No more of that. We don't have to be in a situation where we have to feel bad for succeeding on social media. Okay. We can take our power back and control the situation. I don't think enough people realize that. So I'm here to tell you, you can absolutely do this without people leaving horrible messages and terrible comments, because if you know the back end of how to put something together, like going back to the whole thing of learning the skills, those skills can then be used for technology, and that will help you through larger pictures and how to maneuver around real life situations, because this is just part of real life. We're now living in a world where we need to understand technology. That's like a big part, right? It's no longer just about being successful and making it. It's about really knowing those skills. Like maybe the reason why a lot of things are going down in Hollywood right now and people losing their jobs is because maybe they don't have the skills that they were needing to succeed. Technology plays a big role in this. Like if you have technical skills, you shouldn't be having a problem, right? We shouldn't be fighting on YouTube. We shouldn't be having situations where people are constantly having to mention somebody because they left a horrible comment. It doesn't have to be like that. My channel proves it. I've been through that process before. I've done it, gone through it on TikTok. I'm over it. I'm too old to deal with stress. I really am. I'm over it. I have a broken leg. I have a piece of metal in my leg now. I just don't have the time or the energy, basically. So what I've done on my channel is I've opened that space to be allowed to be nice. You are allowed to be nice. It's okay to be nice. People don't have to be nasty. You know what I mean? There has to be an understanding of kindness. And I just feel as if I wish more people knew that you were able to create these blockers, create the capability of allowing your space to be a happier place. It doesn't have to be unhappy. If I was on here and people were constantly telling me what to do and yelling at me and telling me horrible things to my face, I probably would be just not functioning. It's not a healthy environment. It puts you back in hospital, or horrible things happen to people. It doesn't have to be that way. I feel as if social media has created that space where people think it's okay to behave badly because it helps you push your pieces out into the algorithm, which is not the case. There are so many other ways to do this. If people just follow instructions and do things like don't do the copyright strike thing and make sure that your channel is okay and all that stuff, you'll potentially be okay. I'm not in a rush to have people yelling at me to be pushed into the algorithm just because that's what social media does. I don't think that is necessary. I think there's another way around this. Okay, I think it's important for people to acknowledge that maybe talking to AI could help you potentially in the long run, like a proper conversation. Not all AI stuff, but some stuff. Things that are meant there, tools that are meant there to help you, should be there to be used for the purpose of security and safety. So I just wanted to bring those things up. I think it's important that people have to acknowledge that being on social media doesn't always mean being horrible and nasty to people. It's about really taking time to learn who the person is. And I know a lot of the behavior in the United States, unfortunately, I have to say it. Everybody else around the world is like super nice and super friendly and super like sociable. And then you get to, not all Americans, but I think you get to the younger generation who think that they are like the king of the castle, and they're the ones that are creating this drama on social media. It doesn't have to be. It does not have to be. It does not. People can be nice. People are allowed to be nice. The world was never supposed to be a horrible place where people would come out crying after being on a live or doing a social media video. It should not be hurting people. We should not be hurting people. That's the moral of the story here, is I've experienced it. I've also experienced that in the movie world and the TV world and the music world. People don't have to be nasty. You can be nice about it. Okay? I know those industries because I had to deal with people in those worlds because of what I was surrounded by and what I studied in the end. I studied the arts, right? So studying the arts, you're going to have to be around people that have a little bit on a chip on their shoulder, which is, it's okay, but there is another way around the chip on the shoulder. You know, kindness really goes a long way. Like if people were kinder, I think people would be a lot less stressed. And I think that is like I think that's the moral of the story, and I think the reason why I started doing these lives is to show people you can come in here without having problems, right? I think it's important to acknowledge that, yeah, the gatekeepers, people who think, like, we can use this as an example, the gatekeepers on social media, right? You think that the gatekeeper should not be the public, okay? The gatekeepers should be the ones controlling their environment. We're the ones that should be controlling. The people who are creating their own channels should be controlling their own environments. And if they're too scared because they think the algorithm is not picking them up because people are, it is not true. Like, maybe TikTok or Facebook are like that. Facebook's not as bad. People are not too rude. I mean, I've had experiences on Facebook, but I just think there's too much stress. TikTok has a lot of problems. I've seen the moment I speak up and say something, that's when the issues happen, right? You see, I've created a space where you can have a question or ask me something, and I'll answer politely. I don't, people don't have to come on here and just say irrational, irresponsible, nasty things just to get attention. It's not grown up. Like, I'm 46, and I'm sort of over the phase of trying to fight people. So you can see I show people you can have control of your space. Take your control back. Take your control back and show people what you're made of. Not hard to do. You just have to know what you're doing. Right? Okay. Let me put another one on. Save. Open recent. Won't take me down. Close. Yeah, I haven't been feeling great. And all the music you hear on my channel, I've produced by hand. This is not AI music. This is somebody that actually had studied music. Okay? So it's important to understand that even if you work with AI, for instance, I think you need to have the grounding and understanding from the very beginnings of whatever it is you're trying to do to build it up. Okay? Just like a channel. Like, if you understand the mechanics of how the channel works, there are so many things you can do. You can go onto my channel and actually see how I put it together. There are layouts, there are setups, there are formats, there are even blockers. So you don't have to have people being rude and nasty on the channel, because I have experienced it, but I also realize you can take complete control on this platform. I don't know about you. I guess to some extent you probably can, and the platforms have certain things that you're able to do and able not to do. But I still think having control of the situation is the best bet. And this is coming from somebody who survived many, many things. I've survived a lot. If it wasn't for me getting myself together and focusing on certain skills at a certain time, I probably would not be here today. Okay. So it's important to acknowledge that. Take control of the situation. I think that's the moral of the story here, is take control and have the power to be able to either say no or yes, depending on the circumstance of the situation. Like, I was, all these people used to tell me, oh, no, you can't do this. No, you can't do that. In the meantime, I'm doing all of this stuff. I'm doing everything they're telling me not to do, because that's what I do. It's like I go against the grain. I'll do it because now they just told me I couldn't do it. So now I'm doing it, because now I'm like, okay, if I can't do it, then why am I doing it now? So I had that inner strength to say, they can't stop me from doing whatever I do, because this is what I do. And I'll keep doing it until I am heard the way I should be heard, right? Fashion, gosh, it could go on for hours. Music. I constantly show my channel. I think it's important to just go in and check it out for yourselves if you're ever interested to see my background. I'm going to try a new thing for a different purpose next, which will be another kind of vision here. And these, I was explaining that, and this is not the bestest of the best of the websites, but this is my documentation of projects that I've done in the past. I had to find a way to document it. So part of this is because the documentation wasn't available on social media at the time, and I had to find different ways to make this happen. So I remembered things that I had done, right? So that's important. But try it all. Learn everything you can on YouTube. Try not just not technically, not everything. What I'm saying is learn how the platform works. Understand the levels that you can actually take your channel to. See how it goes in the back end. Don't just use it as a social media platform, because I know everybody comes on here, oh, we want to be famous. No, don't use it like that. Use it for the learning strategies. There is a learning thing that is going on here. You can learn on this channel, on your channels. If you're growing your own channel, you can learn how to build, like you're building. This is like the whole process, is you're building a platform. You're building how to put it together on your own. Use it for that purpose as well. Don't just use it because it's the most popular thing to do. You know, use it for a learning mechanism. I always tell people, use it to benefit your own personal success, right? Don't just do AI because it's the coolest thing to do. Oh, these are good. This is great. This is showing patterns. Learn AI from the grounding of understanding what art is. Take it back to the art. You know, start from the scratch. Okay? So the music you hear is the music I produce by hand. By hand. Those are layers that I've done, right? So that's like the whole process. I think I'm gonna. It's just one of those days today. I think it's going to be a little bit flat. And if you're interested to see like different levels, I have different playlists for different things. So if you want to learn, this is why I'm building this channel, is that I'm trying to go through the process. Sorry. Trying to go through a process. On the front of my channel, you can see I have put together different sections. And everybody can do this. This is no surprise, no secret. If you want to learn, just let me know. You know? If you want to learn how to keep it from people making a mess of your space, let me know. I can help you with that too. Okay? And this all comes with learning what is available. What is available on YouTube to help you through this process, right? Like, those are the other things. Learn the tools that are on here to guide you through stuff. I have 4 different playlists, but I have a lot more playlists. So if you want more detailed stuff, I have over 1,200 something videos. That's a lot of videos. So if you're looking for anything in particular, I'm sure I probably have it down here in the meantime. In 3 or 4 different areas. I might have spoken about it. So if you want to learn how to do music production, I think these ones actually give it to you. music production. This gives you the basics, the introduction into music production. You can go on here and learn what I'm doing over here. This is all by hand. This stuff is not AI. Okay, this is music that I produce. AI could probably replicate it, but it's not AI. This is my stuff. Okay. Learning the skills. Learning some fashion skills. Right? I keep it simple. I don't really go out as much as I used to. So, art. Okay? My whole channel is dedicated for educational purposes. Okay, I'm not just here to... where was the last one? There was one, sustainable fashion, art. If you want to learn about painting Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Frisco, you can learn stuff by hand. Here, this is Adobe Frisco. This iPad becomes very useful, right? I'm busy doing this with my student, but you can have painting techniques on Adobe Frisco, right? You can learn how to paint on here. And then you can use those for images you can probably create for your other projects. Okay, and then my logo. This logo came about with my own design, actually both. So one of them is a car painting that I did, and then the other one is a cap that I designed. Let me show you the cap before it looked like that. So that's what the cat looks like before it was actually placed in the car that I painted, which happens to be here, and then modified on Photoshop. And then also mixed it with a couple of other things, okay? So learn the skills, learn the tools first before jumping into conclusions. Learn the tools. Always important to learn the stuff. I'm not about people yelling or fighting. I've had that enough in my life. I don't need any more of that. So I find that a calm environment is better than an environment where people are trying to make assumptions and be the star of the 5-second arguments or whatever it is that's going on social media. It's just not that's not what I see. As you get older, things change. I have a fur baby. I don't have technically kids, but I taught a lot of students. So I know at my age, if I were coming from an environment where I lived and grew up in social media and that's all I knew, then you would want to find an escape if you thought that being mean and nasty was how you got through social media, which is, I understand that there's I don't know why it has to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way. I think YouTube is great because it does allow you to change that perspective. You don't have to be nasty on here. This channel shows it. You don't have to leave comments. People don't have to leave horrible comments. The nicer you are on here, this is my theory, the more you'll be recognized within having a conversation on this space. And that's how it works. So you can tell the difference between people who are coming on and trying to instigate problems versus people who are trying to understand and learn. And I think that's the whole thing, right? That's important to know. Okay, so I'm going to, I think I want to keep the day short because I'm really not feeling 200%. But I came on, I did my little chit chats. There's a lot of gatekeeping in Hollywood. There's a lot of gatekeeping in Sony, which is, unfortunately, it did start in Japan, but I think once the rest of the world started taking pieces of the company, I think things started to fall apart, personally, in my personal opinion. And yeah, educational purposes only, I suppose you would say. And Disney, I mean, it started off so well, all these talented people, and then people wanted to be part of the company, and the company would only just gatekeep according to what they thought was the right people, because they wanted the people that they knew in their companies to make it happen and work. And I just think there's so much talent out there. I think it's important that we are now able to do things without the larger companies, and I think maybe that's what they're recognizing and seeing now, is that it doesn't have to be that way. The world is changing. Things do shift. That's how life works. You know, other companies were like that too. You know, things fall apart. Other things build up. That's how it goes. Okay, folks, I'm gonna get off at the moment because, yeah, I'm not 100% today. Thank you.